Hello, here I am. I'm back again with another video of my life's evolution with books. How I started out was about almost 10 years ago when I was a freshman in junior high. Not junior high. Well, that's practically when I evolved, but when I actually started writing, that's when I became fascinated with storytelling. It was about, I was about 18 and That's when I started getting into writing. Plot development, character development, heroes, villains, that sort of thing. And since then, I've written so many series throughout my life, published them online, few sales here and there. Kind of hard to sell millions of them when I'm just self-published right now, so very hard to try to sell stuff when I don't know how to sell. I never been a social media person. I just don't know how to keep up with it or keep up to date with social media. I tried to stay off it since I don't use it at all. And I do have a few social media sites. I'll post them in the description and I'll post a comment to those links. But to start out, I might as well talk about the evolution of my first series I started, or first published. The Human Dragon Hybrid series. This, in particular. A Tale of a Human Dragon. A Tale of a Human Dragon Hybrid. That is a series I started in 2014 and finished it 2 years ago in 2020. Kinda interesting, isn't it? So yeah, this has quite a history with me. And if you can see here, that's the character on the face here. The face of this character, if you can see a similarity. So originally I had drafted out and written about a good 170 pages in Microsoft Word. That's when this book I saw as a trilogy. How that got into my head. An idea that popped into my head. Basically, when it comes to hybrids, I always found those things rather fascinating. Half one creature, half another. But either way, it's my favorite series so far. Well, back to what I was saying. The original draft I had was about 170 pages. Took me about 2 to 3 months to fully write. Then over the next few years, in 2017, or by the end of that year, there were some things I felt like needed some drastic changes, because I was going into book 2, The Twilight of a Hybrid. That's when I came up with a certain name that wasn't in the first book, and if the reader reads it, they'll be confused, like, that name wasn't in the first book. What does this name have to do with that? I practically confused myself, so I had to go back to the finished draft of the first book and had to make some additional changes, mostly a prologue. This here prologue was an additional chapter I added in. So basically, I never thought of putting like a certain character into the book, but there has to be some sort of connection. So I went back, spent a few more months doing some additional changes to it, and it ended up transforming into a bigger universe than I thought. A human dragon hybrid. The child of a human witch and a male dragon. Who could know? And some changes I saw in this. One of the changes I did in this was edit out a certain chapter I feel like wasn't right for the character. He was sent to lead a squad of unicorns to investigate a forbidden forest place. But really, him being the leader of unicorns, a half-bred dragon with horses with horns really wasn't quite satisfying. Just felt too weird, so I had to edit that out and have him as like a solo person who tends to fly solo. But in majority of this, he does lead a group to northern lands to investigate or to find an unknown, or he ventures into northern unknown territory to find an armor artifact to help him fight a Shadow King named Lucifer. But yeah. I told that up, and so the original draft I had in Microsoft Word, which was 170 pages total, I added approximately about 50 pages into it, and it ended up becoming 220 pages, so that's more than I thought. And for the second book, no really big changes have been made. I was just like in the middle of writing it, and when I finished that, it came up to how much? 270 pages. So there was like a 50-page difference between the first book and the second book. And then comes along the final book, A Tale of a Human Dragon, Hybrid, Dusk of a Hybrid. That's my biggest draft I've written so far. 340 pages long. The biggest book I've written so far. But yeah, that's how mega big these books are. This alone, 220, second, 270, 340. Or maybe 30. I can't remember. I published these books back in 2019 to 20, so kind of interesting history there. But yeah, 6 aching years of storytelling, plot development, character development, reality sense, and there's my trilogy. Maybe not in literally good rivals with Lord of the Rings, but it can be a rivalry to the Twilight Saga. How so? I created a unique love couple I've never, or that's never been created before. And I will show you here. Just giving some time. Here it is. Probably can't tell, so I'm going to post this in the link. But this is something that has to do with a tale of a human, a hybrid, and a siren. So half human, half dragon person falling in love with a siren that I think is a distant relative of a mermaid. Think about that. Twilight Saga, there was a vampire and human romance. Lord of the Rings, there was I don't know, a human and elf romance. So I created a romance unlike any other before. A hybrid and a siren romance. My favorite couple I ever created so far, because I was the one who created them. Well, either way, this is the Dragon Hybrid Veludar signing off. Catch you next time.